And go ahead and double tap that screen for me, guys, and like the video, or the three dots up there in the corner, man. Let's have a good stream.
Okay, this is a real headline I'm about to show you guys. Okay, I don't make this stuff up. This was actually posted in GB News. Check out this headline. It is just completely crazy. Liberal women across America vow to never have sex with men again.
Wow.
In revenge for Donald Trump's victory. I said, what? Then my sister texted me. She's like, have you heard of this 4B movement? All of a sudden people are saying 4B, 4B. I'm like, what are we talking about? Okay, so let me slow this down for you in case this is the first time you've heard about it. So apparently in South Korea, there was an extreme feminist movement that emerged during the 2010s as a response to what South Korean women perceived as a, yes, you guessed it, patriarchal and misogynistic culture. Okay. So their movement really caught steam in 2016 after there was this highly publicized murder of a woman who was killed by a man. And although he was indeed found guilty of murder, the women in South Korea were still upset that the man was not also charged with a hate crime. Essentially, like, I understand that he's going to prison and he's obviously being charged, but I want you to say that he did this because she's a woman. Don't get me started on hate crimes.
Okay, yeah, and this is where the liberalism goes a little bit too far. It's like, whoa. Now, yes, he murdered a woman, but I mean, it's probably because he hated, you know what? It's probably because he hated women. If he's out here killing random women, who knows the relationship of the women that he killed? But it is a bit strange that they try to put that on him. Like, well, we're kind of upset that you locked him up, but you didn't make him admit that he hate women. I'm like, wait, what? You know, sometimes when a man commits a crime against a woman, it's only against that person alone, not because he hates women. And shout out Hellbat, I'm the first this time. What's up, man? And what's up, Hellbat, man? Appreciate you for starting it off, man. Shout out Hellbat.
It's all very stupid. I've never heard of a love crime, but yeah, so they got upset about this, and what came to be known as the 4B movement took off because obviously that could have only happened, refusing to charge him for a hate crime, because the patriarchy exists. So yes, the reactionary movement known as 4B, I'm going to tell you what that means. 4B means for no's, because the B means no in Korean. Okay. And it refers to 4 self-imposed restrictions that women are supposed to put on themselves. Number 1, no dating men. Number 2, no sexual relationships with men. Number 3, no marriage to men. And number 4, no childbirth, which you would think number 4 would be a bit redundant if you're not having any sexual relations with men, but nobody ever accuses women of being geniuses. Naturally,
I mean, here's the funniest thing. It's crazy that it took Donald Trump for women to close their legs. I mean, good things are happening already. Women are closing their legs. They said, we're going to stop being hoes because Donald Trump is in office. I'm like, so God bless America. Shout out.
Of course, it has now been appropriated
think y'all
by
doing something.
The angry left-wing female voters across America who are super upset about the election results. So I'm just going to show you this because it is taking off. Like, this is a left-wing trend right now happening on the internet. You have to be aware of it. Here is this not-so-genius woman as just one example. Take a listen.
Not that my content reaches a lot of men because I have an IQ of 130, but I want the men in this country to know that half the female population, we're dry. We're probably going to stay dry. I'm dry as a desert, baby, and I don't want it to change. Yeah, we're not going to like you anymore. You understand that? Like, it doesn't matter if you take away abortion. Like, we'll want to have your babies even less, right? Even if you take away contraception, like, women are really good at celibacy because you guys are actually a threat to us. So we have a lot less to gain from you. So,
I
yeah,
mean, y'all
4B.
gain this entire society that y'all are blessed under. I mean, y'all gain what? You have more rights than any women do in the world, honestly. I mean, let's be real. American women are the freest women in the world. And you want to say UK doesn't have freedom of speech like we do for y'all. And we have women's rights, and y'all can work and become entrepreneurs. I mean, come on now. Aren't y'all being a little, I don't know, ungrateful?
All the way. Let's make some money, I guess. That's all we can do now.
First of all, I love that she says she repels men because she has an IQ of 130. It's not like it's like the highest IQ in the entire world. It's like slightly above average. And then she launches into this diatribe like, okay, you're no longer going to get this. And I always love when people pretend that they're oppressed, like on a TikTok, like look.
Make sure to like the video, guys. Go ahead and double tap that screen or the three dots up there in the corner, man. Appreciate it.
Living in this oppressed society, I'm going to make this TikTok video and post it to the world because I'm just so oppressed. It's such a nonsense, but it gets even crazier than that. Here is a woman encouraging other women to join this movement and to make sure that to prepare yourself for this, like as if you're preparing for an emergency. Stock up on sex toys. I'm not kidding. Take a listen.
Ladies, I'm not saying this to be facetious, but I don't care if you're a rose girl, a wand girl, or a monster alien tentacle girl. Stock up now for your moments of weakness, because I promise you ain't no alive worth getting stuck with a man. None. We are taking coochie off the table indefinitely.
I'm just gonna beg.
Here's the thing. Y'all are the very women who need to take their coochie off the table. Y'all was a little bit too free with the coochie. That's why y'all scared now that Donald Trump's in office. Because nobody's going to lie to make irresponsible decisions. And here's the funny thing is, I'm just, bro. That's not even what's happening. It's still left to the states. You can, as long as you're in a state that allows abortion, you're good. You don't even got to worry about this. So some of y'all women are doing this literally because Donald Trump is president, not because abortion is about to be taken away.
Everyone to please stop saying coochie. It's deeply upsetting to me. But sorry, fellas, you heard it. Hers is off the table. I know there's some fellas watching going, no. And thin eyebrows have been out for a very long time. But these are the videos they're making. They're letting men know that you ain't gonna get this.
What's up, James
no matter
Foley?
who you are, you ain't gonna touch this no more because Trump is in office and now you fellas can suffer. And here's another woman who seems totally stable and normal saying pretty much the same thing. Take a listen.
To the men of America, thank you so much, because you have now officially pushed any woman who is ever questioning herself away from you and into my arms.
You know what's so funny? It's white women saying this, but a majority of white women voted for Trump. So let's be real, white women. There's not most of y'all who believes in this. It's the minority. Now, black women, we got something to be afraid of, guys. I ain't gonna lie. It was a pretty small turnout. Remember, it was only 7% of black women that voted for Trump, 20% us. I mean, you're telling me 20% of black men like politically aligned with only 7% of black women? We have more of a problem than y'all do. I mean, at this point, niggas might have to start jumping ship. I mean, hey, you think we going, you gonna get mad at us at dating white girls then? Oh, you really about to be mad at us now. I mean, and then the thing is, black women, you can't pick this up because y'all literally gonna push us to other races of women who already are more conservative. You might as well pick up the conservatism to go ahead and keep your men, but some reason you disrespect your men or you don't like us. So I don't know why. I don't know why. We're good people, but it is what it is. And shout out Mr. Doc Hill there, making it easier to find a good wife. Oh God. I'm like, bro, hey, go ahead and get yourselves out the way and let me go ahead and get to the good women. Like, God bless America. Like, bro, Trump already helping black men already, though. He said, yeah, we gonna make all these like 80% of women, no, damn near 88% of these black women who are liberal, man, we gonna lock all their coochies up, man.
And I am now 100% gay. I wasn't sure before, but now I am positive. So if you you're a man, don't look at me, don't touch me, don't speak to me, don't breathe near me, okay? Okay, I'm glad we got that sorted.
That one for me is a little bit of a Mean Girls moment. I'm like, does she even go here? She's American men. I just feel like she doesn't even go here. But whatever, she's joining in on the movement too because she's also upset, even though she faces no consequence, likely, of Trump being elected as president of the United States. She's upset and she's therefore off the table. Again, I am very sorry, fellas. And that is not the only component of this movement, because as I said, this is a radical feminist movement and nobody does radicalism better than the feminists. They are also saying that as one component of this, women are being called to de-beautify themselves. And they have decided that the best way to do that, to really make a statement to men,
Bald head.
is to shave their heads. Take a look at this.
So y'all gonna go bald headed on us. Y'all gonna go bald headed. I mean, some of y'all was already hit to begin with, and you going bald headed. Ah, Lord. I mean, really, you're not doing anything, but it is what it is. And make sure y'all like the video. Go ahead and double tap that screen or the 3 dots up there in the corner, because hey, man, we're in crazy times right now. Trump gets elected. Women say we're gonna close our coochies and shave our heads. I'm like, huh. Well, to close the coochie is great, but to shave the head is a bit much.
And in case you're listening to this on audio, we're just showing here a compilation of
really
women that are just a montage of women that are shaving their heads. Some of them are crying.
Yo, she's in a hood when this is the only thing we have left to control ourselves. You just gonna start cutting off your hair with your girlfriend in the back, just in the hood. Like, what type of shit is you trying to create here? RealAlexJones.com. Okay, this is from Alex Jones. This makes sense.
I don't know why this woman looks like she's been, I don't know, she's a person wearing a black hood that's shaving her head and covering it.
Librified. And whoa, hold on. Some of these are actually attractive women that are doing this. Well, hey man, I would just say there are baddies on both sides.
Space like she's a victim. This woman kind of just seems to be zen as somebody shaves her head entirely bald. This woman is smiling. She feels empowered by this. Another woman is smiling at the barbershop. She feels empowered, and this woman is dancing like an alien. In her room, looking
because she looked like one,
happy and overjoyed as she puts on lipstick with her new bald head. Now you can imagine there were a litany of responses to this on the internet, but what has been one response they probably weren't expecting, a ton of women who are going through cancer treatment, chemotherapy, and have to shave their heads for real reasons, and it's a very, very challenging moment for them. It's a very emotional moment for them, are making videos saying, you are signaling to the world that women who have bald heads don't deserve to be loved and don't deserve to be liked and are not beautiful. So that kind of backfired just a...
Oh, okay. That also what I was thinking too. I'm like, what's wrong with a girl being bald? I mean, like, usually the girls who are bald got the best shape. But yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah, we're gonna shave our hair. Because no hair means you're ugly and all this good stuff. I'm like, oh, what about all the bald women and all the women that y'all speak up for who have cancer? What about them? What about the women y'all call beautiful, even though they're bald, but you're shaving your head to make yourself ugly? I mean, make it make sense, women.
a little bit, but I just wanted to show you these are all of the elements. So what are we to make of the 4B movement? Are we supposed to ridicule these women, or do we choose compassion? That's kind of the big question that people are grappling with in the wake of the election results. Like, how do we respond to these human beings? Are they even human beings? That's what I'm asking myself. And you have people like Vivek Ramaswamy, who I love, I think is absolutely brilliant. And he instantly, like following the election results, came down and said, guys, this is really a time for us to demonstrate compassion, to take the high road. Russell Brand, who I also adore, held a similar perspective, or you could say an adjacent perspective on his show. Really, he's just sort of asking the question as well, how do we respond to so many people who seem to be suffering from some sort of a mental break in the wake of these election results? Take a listen to Russell Brand.
I'm not saying that those people, those individuals, should be sort of ridiculed or condemned. I know a lot of you will really get off on it. Like, what I'm saying is, what is making them feel that way? In the same way that we can be directed to sort of drink sort of Coca-Cola when it's sort of not really very good for you, and I like let my children drink it. Like, what kind of conditioning, what kind of coaxing, what kind of propaganda has led people to think that what's about to happen is so significant and so against their interests that it warrants this degree of emotion?
Yeah, like, why are y'all women preparing for The Handmaid's Tale? Like, what? Nobody even talked about that. Nobody even said we're taking away women's right. Nobody even, bro, y'all ran on the whole abortion thing and that was it. That's just one section. This is one section of, like, I guess, women's health. There's a whole lot more to women's health. So the fact that y'all can't get abortion, or y'all feeling like, oh, I can't get abortion, so that means my health rights are just being denied. I'm like, no, because if you still get hurt and you got some good insurance, or if you're in the right place, people are gonna help you. You're gonna get medical attention. So I'm wondering, where is this stemming from? It can't, y'all just can't say, oh, abortion is all of women's health or women's reproductive right. Like, it's more than just abortion.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you.
And make sure to like the video, guys. We got 200 plus y'all in here, man. Make sure to double tap that screen or the 3 dots up there in the corner, guys. Appreciate the support.
I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
I bet you are.
So it's amazing that it's Russell Brand, because back when he was way more on the left, I always knew he was going to come more to the center or to the right, because we had such a great time. He was inviting conservative voices onto his podcast, Under the Skin, and I went on his show and we just had such a great back forth as someone on the right versus someone on the left, and we were laughing, and we had this same discussion about whether or not people should be compassionate. And at that time, Russell Brand was very much on the side that people should be compassionate, and I said, no, we should. Shouldn't be compassionate. And I want to be very clear that looking at this 4B movement, looking at these people that are having breakdowns, looking at, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. I am choosing not to be compassionate. Okay, I think these people should be ridiculed, and I believe that these people should be condemned. And I'm going to tell you why. It is because compassion is the reason that we are in this circumstance. This is what nobody wants to tell you, okay? Everybody wants to be kind, to give hugs. That is the problem, is that you have a bunch of people. I see this when I go on college campuses, and they're coming up to me.
Yeah, we coddle people too much. We don't want to sit there and tell them, like, yo, you might be crazy, or yo, you might be taking this a little too serious. You might need to chill out for a bit. It's like we're too afraid to just check people and be like, hey, yo, it got to stop here, bro. If you take it any further, you're gonna look crazy. That's how y'all liberals are going out. You're looking crazy. Nobody's checked y'all to be like, look, it was just an election, okay? Like, Donald Trump being president doesn't mean the end of women's rights. Like, I don't know who told you that, but that wasn't even preached on the entire campaign. I don't know why they lied to you. I don't know what type of propaganda you were looking into, but no, Donald Trump is not coming for no part of women's rights. It's not going to be the Handmaid's Tale. Trust me, y'all are going to be just fine, if not better.
Begging for their oppression. Imagine buying tickets to a Candace Owens event on campus, right? There are tons of people that want to go to this event, but you make sure you're first in line to steal one of these tickets. You then wait in a line that's wrapping around the campus to find yourself a seat so that you can wait until the very end to ask Candace Owens a question and say, I feel oppressed by your presence here. The presence that you are opting into. These are the most remarkably privileged people in the entire world. And they're privileged because we are giving them too much compassion. We tell them every feeling that they have is valid. It's not. Every feeling that you have is not valid. I have to check myself, check my sisters.
Facts.
This is the point in telling the truth, is that it tells people, no.
It's like, bro, not every feeling, or girl, not every feeling you have is valid. Sometimes you are being a bit selfish. Sometimes you are being a bit greedy or whatever. Like sometimes you're in the wrong. Sometimes you have no right to feel what you're feeling because you're just trying to cover up like the fact that you need to take accountability. Like, that's really what it is. Honestly, a lot of people be putting all these feelings in because they want to run away from accountability. And sadly, it's one of the most detrimental, like, human natures. It's trying to escape accountability.
Actually, you need to regulate your emotions. I don't need to validate them. You need to regulate them. And somehow, in the last 15 years, things completely changed. And we just said to people, every feeling and emotion that you have is valid. You know, I had this discussion with Dave Smith. It was off camera. We were just driving somewhere after he came on my podcast. And he said to me, it's so important for men to call one another the P word. I'm just not saying it because I even though it's kind of a cat word, you know. Cat, you know? And he said, growing up, it's very important for men to say that, like, stop being a little P word, stop being a little P word. And he said, the reason is because it signals to other men that this behavior that you're doing right now is not acceptable. It challenges them to be men. It's
when you tell you, dude, come on, bro, don't you think you're being a little soft, or you're being a bitch, you're being a pussy. It's like all that good stuff is what we need to tell each other sometimes as men, because sometimes we can get a little bit out there, or we can get a little out of body, I like to say. But most of the time, I'm gonna be real with you, it's these liberals who we're too afraid to tell you, bro, you overreacting like this is hella feminine. It's not manly. You acting like a bitch, okay? Grab your balls and you'll be okay. Just move on with the next day, okay? No need for you to be crying on social media. And whoever validating this is just, supporting the pussy in you.
Says to them, like, you need to be stronger, you need to be more assertive, and they need to hear that. They need to call each other names and call each other, you know, gay and whatever it is, because it signals to them that the tribe is not going to accept this sort of behavior. And I very much believe in that, and it is the same manner that when I am dealing with my children, I don't tell them every feeling they have is valid. The other weekend, actually a week ago, rather, we have this thing in Tennessee. My little 3-year-old boy was terrified of ladybugs. Now, you might be thinking this, by the way, I should put this in perspective to make him look a little tougher than he is. It's not because ladybugs are not like when you live in Connecticut. In Tennessee, we get a season where they swarm. Right? A swarm of, it's basically an infestation. As soon as it starts to get cold, there is nothing that is cute and innocent after there's 3,000 of them suddenly around your house. It's truly nothing. I mean, a swarm of anything is just always bad. And so because there were so many, my 3-year-old son was just so upset about this and was like, I don't like ladybugs. And I said to him, stop it. You're not allowed to be afraid of ladybugs. You know, it's just like this easiest way.
I look at my son too. I'm like, bro, there are way more threatening things in life than these damn ladybugs. You know, man the hell up. You'll be okay.
Can say, or the kindest way you can say to a 3-year-old, man up. I said, your sister is not afraid of ladybugs. You're not allowed to be afraid of ladybugs. And this week, he's not afraid of ladybugs. And suddenly we're picking up the ladybugs. I mean, we have to understand that this culture that we have fostered over the last 15 years is not working. Okay, these kids are privileged. They've never been told no. They're whiny. They're bratty. So yes, condemn them, ridicule them because their parents have failed them. And that is all that I want to say about that topic before we get into Melania. Trump dance. But first, I got to tell you about Goldco. Gold today. And I can tell you who. Listen, Melania Trump. Let me tell you background. I met everybody in the Trump administration. I can tell you who the yays are, who the nays are, and this woman is a yay, okay? I got to watch the midterm election results with her. I was the closest I've ever been in Melania Trump, and I had a little conversation with her. She's absolutely brilliant. She speaks like 9 languages, but she gives the press nothing, just nothing. And so they write all these stories about her. I think she is like a secret weapon in the White House. Truly, I hope that she is always the one that's in Trump's ear because she has very good instincts about people, and she stays away from people that she doesn't trust. All women are like this, by the way. We have very good gut instincts about people, and she's always kind of looking out for her husband, and you just get a sense from her. I guess the best way to...
but I ain't gonna lie, everybody need a woman like that. Looking out for your husband, always making sure you're not going too far out there. It is crazy, though, because as a man, like I said, you lead your woman, but like I said, you lead your woman, but your woman's supposed to follow behind. And sometimes while you're leading, you miss some things that they're supposed to catch. So shout out to the women that actually help their men get somewhere. Honestly, if you want to be technical, a lot of businesses, successful administrations, usually was because a submissive and cooperative woman was involved. Yeah, submissive and cooperative women bring success no matter where they go.
To describe it, she's very Eastern European. Like she just has this, she's just cool in a way. Like she just is very cool and very reserved and very classy. And she is not going to be in your face like, oh, hi, like, I love you. You're so great. It's not going to happen. She doesn't have the fakeness in her. She suffers from realness, just from being so real. The press hates her. She's got to suffer for it, okay? So I just loved this. This is absolutely amazing, and it just really speaks to her character. So there is this custom, in case you're not aware of it, that essentially the president-elect is supposed to come and sit down with the current president in the Oval Office, and then at the same exact time, the First Lady is supposed to be hosting the to-be First Lady, and they're supposed.
And shout out Hellbat with the $5 super chat. I scared the shit out of my grandfather because I will go around the yard catching all snakes with my bare hands. Still do if given a chance. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just those reckless things that we did as guys that, like, bro, I'm pretty sure at the time you were like scared of it. And you just said, you know, fuck, I'm grabbing that snake because I don't want to be scared of it. And instead of being scared, you use anger, you grab the snakes, and now you love grabbing snakes. Now you figure that's not as bad as you thought. That's being a boy. That's a boy trying to turn into a man. It's just the best thing in life. Well, for guys.
Supposed to have tea, and they take a cheesy little picture, and it's like, oh, we love each other, even though, like, obviously they don't love each other at all, particularly in a circumstance like today. Well, Melania Trump has said no to tea. She has said, no, thank you. I will not be sitting down for tea with you. And I just love this because somebody in her...
bro, like, come on now. Now, guys, if you got a wife and all that, like, ask your wife this. Would you sit down across the table with the woman whose husband tried to come after me, try to lock me up, called me a rapist, called you a sex worker? Like, would you even entertain a meeting with that person? No, I wouldn't either. I'd be like, bro, you don't call, like, think about it, guys. Would you entertain a conversation with a guy who called your wife a bitch or a whore? Or anything? Like, you would low-key be on his ass. You wouldn't even sit at the... Bro, you would be in the boxing ring before you sit at the table with the guy. So, yeah, it's kind of like that. Like, it was all like... Okay, during the debate, when Kamala Harris walked up to Trump, and everybody was surprised, or everybody got mad, like, oh, well, why was Trump so surprised that Kamala wanted to shake his hand? I'm like, because she spent the whole time calling this man a dictator, a misogynist, an evil man, and you're walking up trying to shake my hand. I'm going like, whoa, all this shit you said about me, I'm surprised you even want to come near me.
Her camp spoke out to the New York Post, and this is the exact quotation that they gave them. They just said, she ain't going.
Sure, I wouldn't either.
She ain't going. A source familiar with Melania Trump told the Post, and I love this because why should she have to go? And these are the reasons that she listed. She listed it because her husband, as in Jill Biden's husband, Joe Biden himself, authorized, which he was allowed to do as the president, he authorized the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago, to go through her home and to snoop through her underwear drawer and humiliate them. Because they just wanted to get Trump. She lives there. Her son lives there.
And make sure to like the video, guys. We got 400 plus of y'all in here, man. Go ahead and double tap that screen for me or the 3 dots up there in the corner, man. We appreciate the support. Let's keep it going.
She watched her son have to, what's going on? Suddenly being raided by the FBI, a former president and first lady needing to be raided. I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. So you did this. You snooped through her underwear drawer. I mean, the quotation that the person gave to the New York Post is, quote, Jill Biden's husband authorized the FBI snooping through her underwear drawer. The Bidens are disgusting, okay? Jill Biden is not someone Melania needs to meet, the source added. I mean, where is the gangster music? Seriously,
I mean, for real.
Like, she's just amazing for this because...
All right, my man, throw the shades on. Say, man, pretty much, oh, yeah, are you going to go ahead and have that conference with the First Lady, that dinner with the First Lady? Yeah. Oh, you mean the same First Lady that tried to lock her and her husband tried to lock my husband up, call him a rapist, Russian supporter? Oh, that lady? Yeah, I'll pass. Like, yeah, I'd have done the same thing. Come on, I would hope my wife or my girl would do the same thing.
That is how any woman would feel after watching what he allowed his Department of Justice to put them through over the last 4 years. First and foremost, you stole the election in 2020, so you took her house. She was living in the White House. You took that. You weren't supposed to be there. He then had to go out and win 3 times, okay, to get it back. He had to go out and win 3 times to be able to move them back into their home at the White House. Then, because you're salty, you authorize the DOJ to essentially harass them, and everywhere, by the way. I mean, Letitia James up in New York, they have gone through nonstop harassment over the next 4 years, hoping that they would harass them into silence and into compliance, trying to stop Trump from running again, because they knew, of course, that they didn't legitimately win in 2020, so they wanted to prevent him from running in 2024, right? If you can't beat him the first time, what makes you think you're going to be able to beat him the second time? And so for Melania to say, you know what, I'm not okay with this, is so great. And beyond that, another reason that has been listed by some sources is they are saying that Melania was very suspicious when Jill Biden called her following Donald Trump's assassination attempt. Apparently, Joe Biden called Melania, and she said she was so sorry about it. But a couple of days before it, she was on air calling Trump evil, calling him a liar,
That's
and
what I'm
essentially
saying.
doing what I believe is soft signaling to psychopaths that they can harm her husband. What is it? I hate when the press removes themselves from the result of their words. You know, they get up on there and they're like, oh, he's evil. He's literally Hitler. If he gets into the White House, then all will be lost. He's going to take away our tomorrows. He's a murderer. He's vindictive. He's a rapist. And then someone goes out and goes, okay, I think I'm gonna be a hero if I kill this literally Hitler person. And then all of a sudden the press goes, oh no, Joe Biden gets to say, oh no, I know I said your husband was evil and a dictator 2 days ago, but we never would have wanted Matthew Crooks to shoot him. As if, whatever, goodbye, get out of my...
And I always did say, bro, if Trump did die, they'd have pulled the meanest gaslighting campaign. Like, Trump would have been a hero. Bro, he'd have went from being hated to love as soon as he died. I promise you. And we'd have all been amazed. We'd have been like, yo, they took this man out just to gaslight us. Trust me, all the liberal news have been talking about how they love Trump, how Trump did all this, all the lies that are now being discovered that are untrue about Trump. Trust me, liberal media would have took the lies off him themselves if Trump would have died. It'd have been the biggest gaslighting campaign to take the blame off him.
Face. Thank you, Melania Trump. I just think this is such a G move. You know what I mean? Like, she is just not someone who is going to be fake. And so Melania Trump, we just give it to you. Honestly, she wins all the awards today. Okay, so what else is the left absolutely having a meltdown about? Well, Donald Trump has announced his plans to abolish the Department of Education, something I have been begging for since I hit the public sphere. I have been saying in my book, I have a whole section in Blackout about the Department of Education and how it has just been an abject failure. Here is Trump saying he's going to shut it down. Take a listen.
And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education.
So all you liberal teachers who like to try to teach our kids about LGBTQ but don't know how to teach their ass math, you're fired. Get your ass up out of there.
Work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation.
And don't get nothing.
And yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst.
Yeah.
So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up. All those buildings all over the place, and yet people that in many cases hate our children, we're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't think the Department of Education should be receiving $60 billion every single year, given the results of the education that they have been mandating to students. But there are some people, of course, who are already trying to signal to others that they should be fearful. And one such person is Bakari Sellers. I've actually debated him along many, many moons ago, I think on like MSNBC. He is this attorney, political commentator, also served in the South Carolina House of Representatives from 2006 to 2014. Look at his tweet here in response to this. He writes, Trump just said he's going to eliminate the Department of Education. He didn't give you a how or what happens with the necessary funding for your children that come department. He just gonna put locks on the doors. Y'all voted for these next 4 years.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, actually, that's exactly what I voted for. So I tweeted this back at him. I said, yeah. This is exactly what I voted for. The Department of Education has been an abject failure since its inception in 1970. I meant to write 1979. It is systematically making students dumber each generation. You likely know this since you are currently appealing to midwits who will wrongly assume that abolishing federalized education means no more access to school. Either that, or you yourself wrongly believe that to be so and are unwittingly proving why it ought to be abolished. So you have this.
Oh. Yeah, cooked him. I mean, in the tweet, though. Shout out Candace on X. Because it's kind of crazy that this man did try to come out and say that. Oh, he's going to lock up all the schools and all this crazy stuff. And I'm just like, dog, I'm be real with you. Maybe we do. Because some of these people with degrees are just narcissistic people who don't know shit. And it's wild. I mean, they have the most useless degrees with the most narcissism. I mean, they have more narcissism than people who actually have degrees that do something, like in STEM. It's absolutely wild. I mean, yes, the education system has failed. Like, it has not created any real workers. If anything, it created a bunch of entitled brats.
This weird thing where people are learning nothing in school. It's just becoming one big present, and obviously these are turning into little indoctrination centers, Marxist indoctrination centers, and that as it was intended to, because the people who established and pushed for federalized education were quite literally communists that were coming from Germany and coming from Russia at the time, and they wanted to just set up Soviet propaganda, right? And so there's this wrong belief, and I really want to correct you in case you're one of these people that believe this, that we keep getting smarter. Maybe because we're holding a smartphone, we're like, oh, we must be getting smarter and smarter with every generation. We are factually, if you look at the metrics, getting dumber and dumber and dumber. So there's no metric somebody can produce to you that will prove that the Department of Education has been a success, because it simply hasn't been. And everyone knows this. Even the NAACP filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education over literacy levels, because every generation, less and less students are even knowing how to read. They're not even learning how to read due to the intentional drive, by the way, I want to tell you, of the Department of Education, because that was their goal. Their goal was to turn us back into slaves slowly. What were slaves not allowed to do? Learn how to read. So imagine how brilliant it is, how Machiavellian it is. If you
imagine how crazy it is that, yes, the literacy rate is going down. Math rate, math proficiency is going down, and reading and math is going to be the main two things you need throughout life. I mean, if you can barely read, you're not going to be able to see through the propaganda, and math, that builds your logic. So if you can't do good math, then you're going to have bad logic, or your logic trail is going to be flawed, or you really can't come to logical decisions too well. I mean, yeah, they're trying to create the perfect mental slave. You know, whatever we tell you, you're going to believe, and that's exactly what y'all do. Well, some of y'all.
You say, no, everyone's allowed to learn how to read. We're going to put you all.
Make sure to like the video, man. Go ahead and double tap that screen or the three dots up there in the corner, man. Let's have a good stream. Let's keep it going.
In this department, beneath the Department of Education, we're going to federalize education, and then you teach them nothing. You do weird things, like now when the kids are learning math. What is that new math program called? One of you guys speak to me in my ear. Common Core, is that what it is? Yeah, Common Core math, and you watch a kid who can't, it's like 22 steps to solve something that he should be able to just solve in his head. It's all about actually making kids dumber.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I remember when I was in college, right? And I had a really good math teacher growing up. I mean, shout out Mr. King. But he taught me math in a very good way. Like, I was able to do, math problems with less steps that I figured out. I thought this was just basic math. I thought I was just doing math how everybody else did it until I got to college. Honestly, yeah, until I got to college, and I started seeing that, why are we doing all these steps to solve, like, y'all added 5 extra steps to a 3-step problem. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this isn't efficient. Like, what are we trying to do? I thought this was supposed to be a place where we're raising excellence, not raising mediocrity. Like, man, I'm expecting to go to college, and y'all niggas is teaching me how to fix it in my head. Y'all be damned if I write something down. That's what I'm thinking.
Or slowly until they are reverted back into slaves on a government plantation. But anyways, watch this clip, because it's the NAACP even admitting that nobody knows how to read anymore. Take a listen.
NAACP filing a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education over what they call a literacy crisis. The group says students across the region, especially black kids, are falling behind in reading. Recent data from 2022 shows St. Louis is more than 3 grade levels below the national reading average, and students in metros similar in size to St. Louis are performing at higher levels.
It is also our findings is that the literacy level of children, especially those in the inner city areas or high poverty areas, there's a direct linkage between crime and literacy.
The Department of
Yeah.
Education will mediate between the
I mean, yeah, there's a direct link between crime and literacy. There's a direct link between crime and poverty. And guess what? Also a direct link between literacy and poverty. I mean, usually, yeah, the more uneducated you are, the less likely you are to turn out well. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just less likely.
NAACP and the local districts. But in the meantime, the NAACP is asking the public to support existing reading programs and help create new initiatives to help kids read in the metro.
So here are some updated statistics. Ready? This is according to the National Assessment of Educational Progress. It sounds like more stuff that our tax dollars are going to that we don't need. 84% of black students, 84% of black students lack proficiency in mathematics.
Are you serious?
85% of black students
84?
lack proficiency in reading skills. In California, 90% of students cannot do math or read well.
What the hell is y'all doing? Like, what is y'all doing at this point? That's what I'm wondering. I really have to ask these black kids. Like, all right, so what are they teaching you in here for the reason why you can't, why you're so low in reading? Like, if I actually read this chapter book, you tell me you can't read it, and you're in the 4th or 5th grade, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be hella pissed, especially if you're a black person, and I'm gonna feel like, yo, like, what are our tax dollars going towards? Actually, what is the government paying y'all for? If y'all are completely failing our kids, but our kids are coming out with this indoctrination, oh yeah, they understand liberalism, but they don't understand mathematics and reading. Like, what's going on? Like, what are y'all trying to tell us here? That what, liberalism is more important than reading and mathematics?
In New York, the numbers are 85% and 82%. In Illinois, it's 86% and 85%. In Texas, the numbers are 84% and 89%. Maryland sits at 86% for math and 80% for reading. South Carolina, 90% and 87%. I mean, abject failure, but actually, I would actually say it's been a success because this is what they desired. They do not want people to be intelligent.
Nope.
They want them to be emotional fools. They want them to behave like toddlers throwing temper tantrums. And I want to show you this. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I really wanted to read it to you guys today. So,
and it's crazy because I know during the election, it showed in the chat. It did show in the chat that I'm just like, hold on. Some of y'all are like, I mean, they call me uneducated, and I'll just take it to the chin. It's whatever. But what they be saying is truly uneducated is that they never even heard of the word, and they'll use words incorrectly, or they'll act like they know about something and it ends up being wrong. And it's just like, all right, bro, you're making emotional arguments and you don't even know it. I mean, I remember even the guy who popped on here just wanted to spout conspiracy theories. I'm like, dog, you're coming up with an emotional argument because it's like you just want to be sad, but you want to be right at the same time, and you want to shit on other people's parade. And, you know, y'all kind of do hate those people who go, oh, it don't matter what side you vote for. You think you really got a choice. This is a rigged election either way. And it's like, bro, shut up. If that's how you feel, then go cry under a rock somewhere.
they tell you that in order to be educated, you got to go to college, you got to be smart. And like I said, you can just go back and read the writings of people before there was Department of Education, before there was even standard school, okay? This is a Civil War letter that was written by a 17-year-old. A 17-year-old, okay? His name was Langdon L. Rumpf, and he's writing this letter to his father. He writes this: "My dear father, yours of the 5th came safely to hand yesterday, and I was glad to learn that all things at home were getting along smooth and well. I also received a letter from Aunt M by mail dated the 2nd. All but grandmother, she says, are well. We are faring much better than at first. We get more and better food, which is about all soldiers care for. I took a sail today on a little skiff, went near the U.S. steamer, Wyandotte, and about 150 yards of Pickens, and then out in the Gulf about 5 miles to where the other U.S. ships were at anchor. The Brooklyn, St. Louis, and Sabine are much larger than the Wyandotte, and she carries 6.64 pounds. When we were coming back, the wind began to rise and the green waves to roll.
Wow.
The boat came near dipping water 2 or 3 times. I began to feel kind squally. No fight is apprehended now, and all seem to be well pleased. However, we have to work on our sand batteries daily, Sundays not accepted." I mean, hello! That's a 17-year-old. A 17-year-old in the Civil War.
Bro, you could not get that out of a 17-year-old today. You're telling me a 17-year-old Civil War times is writing like that, but you ask a 17-year-old today to write like that, bro, you're not even going to appreciate the handwriting that he turns that in with. You're not going to appreciate the grammar. And I'm talking about almost across all races. All races are kind of falling in literacy. And writing skill, apparently.
Writing that letter to his father. If you challenged 17-year-olds across America today to write a letter to their father, do you think that's what it would sound like? That's my question to you. And the obvious answer is no. So please stop believing this idea that because we're becoming more technologically advanced.
Yeah, because some people write their father, hey, yo, where you been?
That we are becoming more intellectual because we are not. We are becoming very dumb. I mean, we are stupid, guys. I am telling you, when you take a look at everything that is happening, you go, wow, how Machiavellian to establish a Department of Education, call it something that it's explicitly not, actually. It is a department of no education, all feelings, no facts, no knowledge. And then they send the elites to different schools so that they learn, so that they can just kind of, pass the baton. And they know that those elites will be the ones running the world while the rest of us are going to be enslaved by them. But don't let me...
And shout out Hellbat. He said, literally had to self-teach myself cursive, and it's been more important than most math I had to do to make it make sense. Yeah, man, oh God, that cursive was a mother F. It was a mother. But it's kind of crazy. They don't even teach cursive no more. They don't even teach these kids cursive no more. And now these kids are effing up simple print. Simple print. Like, what the hell? Like, man, it's sad.
Get off on a tangent. Let me get off on a tangent. Let me instead tell you about American financing before I show you this remarkable clip of Joy Reid. Okay. The Fed has dropped interest rates, so you need to call my friends at American Financing today. Now is the perfect time to consolidate debt and reduce your monthly expenses. A lot of us have been forced to use credit cards because of the ridiculous prices at the grocery store, power, and even childcare. That debt can get really expensive with credit card rates being so high, but with mortgage rates dropping, now is the time to wipe that debt out. American Financing is helping homeowners just like you save over $800 a month on average. They're even closing some in as fast as 10 days. And if you start today, you may delay 2 mortgage payments. There are no upfront fees, to find out how much you can save. Just call American Financing today. The number is 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210, or you can just visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. Okay, actually, I want to honorably mention before we get to the amazing, always amazing, and by always amazing, I mean a complete moron, Joy Reid, I want to mention the Stop Pompeo movement has been a success. So if you guys have been following this, of course, we all got Trump over the finish line. Now there is concern about his cabinet picks and whether or not they are going to be neocons, people that essentially are just very obviously going to serve the deep state, the CIA, and going to get us into another war. It's very obvious that war is on the menu. They're giving us a few appetizers, blaming Iran for everything, everywhere, kind of like Russia, 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 and they want war with Iran very quickly. So paying attention to who he is going to name as his defense secretary, as a secretary of state, those are very important picks, right? So somehow Pompeo's name was being floated. Crazy. Now, in case you don't know why Pompeo is indeed a psychopath and a part of the deep state, you can't say that you're going to drain the swamp if you're going to pick a swamp creature like Pompeo. Here is Tucker Carlson on Joe Rogan reminding the world of what exactly it was that Mike Pompeo took part in. Take a listen.
I spoke to someone who'd seen the documents, 2 years ago, and I got
this is about JFK,
one fact
by
out
the
of
way.
him, which is yes, the CIA was involved. And by CIA is a huge organization, but James Jesus Angleton, the head of the operations directorate, had knowledge of this, which I think is well known. But that's the view of someone who saw the documents. So I thought that was news. So I went on TV and said that. The next day, I'll never forget it, I went quail hunting, and I was driving back, and I got a phone call from Mike Pompeo's lawyer. Mike Pompeo was the Secretary of State, but before then, he was the director of the CIA. And in that position, he plotted the murder of Julian Assange. So he is a criminal as far as I'm concerned. But his lawyer called me and said, you should know that anyone who tells you the contents of classified documents has committed a crime. He's threatening me. This is in my car. With my dog sitting next to me, I'll never forget this. And I said, are you really saying that to reveal that the U.S. government had a role in the murder of a democratically elected president, to say that out loud, that's the crime? What about the actual crime, which is murdering a president? Like, you're covering up for that, Mike Pompeo.
What did he say to that?
He had no response at all. And so Mike Pompeo is the one who pressed Trump to keep those documents secret. And so it's like, what's crazy to me is not just that Pompeo did that. I think Pompeo is a really sinister person and a criminal. I think that because the facts suggest that. He was caught. Yahoo News, Mike Isikoff,
trying to take out somebody who exposed secrets or NSA secrets that we all needed to know as American people. It is fair. They are spying on us. And you want to take that guy out? Yeah, I wouldn't trust that guy no more either. I wouldn't want him nowhere near power, no seat of power.
Long piece on this several years ago.
Just go ahead and retire, man.
Went to Mike Isikoff and said, hey, Mike Pompeo was plotting to murder Julian Assange, who's never even been charged with a crime in the United States.
And make sure you like the video, man. Go ahead and double tap that screen or the 3 dots up there in the corner. Appreciate the support, guys.
As CIA director. That's illegal. You're not allowed. Federal employees are not allowed to just kill people they don't like, okay? Just to set the baseline here. So that's who Mike Pompeo is. Mm-hmm. But he somehow intimidated Trump into not releasing this. Well, okay, that's all bad, right? I think it's criminal behavior. What's crazy is how Mike Pompeo is treated. He's treated as like a Republican poobah in good standing. He fully expects to become the Secretary of Defense in a Trump administration, which is like completely insane. Why would you take a criminal and give him nuclear weapons? Okay, that's my view. I think it's a common sense view. And like he goes to fundraisers and dinners and everyone's like, hey, Mike Pompeo. It's like, no, you're the guy who kept information the public has a right to know secret. You're the guy who plotted the murder of someone who committed no crime. You are the outlaw. You are the bad guy. But no, he's treated as like, you know, like a pillar of Republican Washington. I think that's, I think it's mind bending to watch that.
And that is a crazy, like, knowing that he kind of went against the American people by, you know, going after somebody who helped the American people by exposing a secret that our government was kind of doing some shysty things behind the scenes, you know, spying on us. And you went after him after you didn't help the American people? Help us out. I mean, like, shoot, let us know what's going on, as we should, you know, since we pay for this government. The government takes our tax dollars and do these wild things with it. So, I mean, it is our right to know what's going on, is it not? Or I guess not the Mike Pompeo. I guess he has different thoughts.
It is mind-bending to watch that. I mean, show of hands, if you believe the CIA is a group of serial killers that are allowed to get away with it because they have now made themselves a government agency. My hands up. My hands up. Everything I've read, everything I've learned, we are talking about a group of psychopathic serial killers who are engaged in the worst crimes, not just at home, but also abroad. And they are infested. I mean, there's absolutely infesting Washington, D.C., an infestation there, and they've used their psychopathic tendencies to put a lot of people, blackmail a lot of people into submission. And so it is extremely alarming what Tucker is saying there. It's extremely alarming that he was even on the short list. And this is what we're understanding from the press. Maybe it's incorrect, but that his name had been floated, and you had people, neocons, saying like he's definitely going to be in that position, that he's going to become the defense secretary or the secretary of state. And then Trump came out and said that wasn't true. And there was obviously a celebration, like a small win, but then we're wondering who is he going to put in his place, in his, I guess, this vacant seat. Dave Smith tweeted this on the success of the Stop Pompeo movement, and I think he really hit it right. He wrote the Stop Pompeo movement.
I love it. Trump's already listening to the people. He's like, look, the people have spoken, and you better not pick that man Pompeo. Do not pick this man, okay? As long as you don't pick him, you still good with us, Trump. Hey, vote well spent.
Is great, but it's not enough. Right now, we need maximum pressure to keep all neocons and war hawks out of the Trump administration. They've had their time at the table and brought nothing but disaster to the world and this country. America first, screw the war machine.
I mean, hard times on the world and hard economic times on us. So yeah, maybe we do need to sit them off to the side for a little bit. Like, yeah, not even for a little bit. I mean, tell their ass to retire in grace, or maybe we do need to bring them up on some criminal charges. But either one will do.
I totally agree with that. And now it is being alleged that he's thinking about Marco Rubio. Again, begs the question, why? Why can't he go with someone who has an isolationist perspective? Why doesn't he pick someone like Thomas Massie? If we are really going to be leading the charge and saying that we're America first, we should have people who we know are like dyed in the wool, isolationist America first people. And I believe people like Thomas Massie should be filling all of these slots. And so there is some concern here about whether or not the Trump campaign has been infiltrated, because people that are neocons and hate Trump are saying that they have successfully infiltrated in private circles. I've heard about this from their assistants, that they're kind of bragging and giving each other high fives and essentially saying that they are going to be in charge of cabinet picks because of whoever it is that has Trump's ear. And I'm not sure who that person is, but I'll let you know that when I find out, I'll be the first one to out them. And I am on the case. All right, guys. Now,
and that's not good. He's pretty much saying like, yeah, we're expecting these guys to be down, like, oh, we lost power, but they're not. They're like, no. You thought you beat us, but we still got somebody in there who's next to Trump. You may not know who he is. We ain't gonna tell y'all, but hey, y'all better find out. We better find out soon who's in there, because apparently the Warhawks and neocons are telling us straight up, yeah, we got somebody in there. We won't tell you, but we got somebody. Don't worry about that. But let's get on to everybody tripping about Trump's border czar pick.